It's weirdly satisfying, this game.
Whack-a-mole. This was your game last week, wasn't it, Tom?
It was indeed. It's weirdly
It was indeed.
satisfying.
I think it's the donks.
Yeah.
I think
Agree.
it's the donks.
I agree.
agree. Welcome to the Code Zone. If you're just joining us, we are live. Thank you. I thought we'd get into the festive spirit this week, but I didn't have a Christmas jumper. The kids, I've been wearing some lovely Christmassy jumpers for me in the hat club.
I thought you had like very thin tinsel in your hair before we started. I was like, what's in Holly's hair? I'm not going to say anything. She might have accidentally got like tooth floss in her hair accidentally or something. So I'm just not going to, just in case it's really awkward. But no.
I wondered if you were going to ask. I was like, well, he hasn't said anything yet.
I'm not one to judge. I thought it was tooth floss. I didn't want to say anything.
So yeah, this is my attempt at getting into the holiday spirit. Happy almost holidays. The kids are getting excited. We're getting lots of festive jumpers out, lots of decorations in the background, lots of people just excited to have a little break. Hey! Beautiful. I don't think it's too early. It's fair game. It's fair game. Everyone goes on holiday soon. Oh, looking lovely, Tom. The Code Zone website is also looking a little bit festive, at least on the kids' end. We've got some, please do, yes. We'll come back to Whack-a-Mole in a minute, because I've got a great game to show you from Seb this week, his version of Whack-a-Mole. But yeah, if you're on the front page of the website at the moment, when you log in, there are some Christmassy or general holiday-themed badges, good for the December season. In fact, you've got, I believe, Tom, all December to get these badges, is that right?
Up until just after Christmas.
Oh, okay.
So I think on Boxing Day, or maybe the 27th, we're going to switch over and do a very, very quick, very brief New Year's challenge.
Oh, okay. That'll be a limited get. Yeah, the kids have been asking for achievements for ages, so I think this should satisfy the lust for achievements really well. All you got to do is come on, earn some XP or some stars, do some coding, and you'll be getting these beautiful badges. Try and aim for the gold one with the little carrot. It's so cute.
But anyway, housekeeping is out of the way. Hello.
Housekeeping out of the way.
And welcome to the Code Zone. I am Tom, and joining me is Holly.
Hello.
Now I've done the formal intro and actually just said my name.
Yes, I wasn't sure where we were going to fit that bit in. It's all a bit new, isn't
it? Figure I should say who I actually am, because as much as I like to pretend everybody knows me, and that I'm an international sensation, I'm yet to be.
You are a bit of a historic figure on the Code Zone website. Kids will recognise Tom from, like, at the start of any project. There's a little video of him showing you how to play, just like he was showing us at the start of this one, how to play Whack-a-Mole.
Basically,
which was last week's game. It's fun, it's satisfying, it's donkable. What would you say?
Excellent new word, donkable. What was the word? There was a word I
don't know if you remember, there was a song in the 90s that was like, put a donk on it. And we play that quite a lot in my house. It's not really a Christmas anthem, but if anyone wants to look that up on YouTube, that is a daft one.
I'm gonna say that's not a thing. I was unaware that was a thing.
You're gonna be pleased later. I've got a variation on last week's game for you. I think I've sent it to you. It is by Seb. Shout out to Seb, and often his little brother Oscar, actually, who is just always watching in the background, always there to play test or teasing us with his Roblox knowledge.
This is the
no, not that one. Other one.
Too many projects to have a look at.
I know. We've always got like 10 projects on the go, haven't we? A tab for every child.
It is without sounding disingenuous. It's because there are genuinely so many good projects that people make.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't want to make that sound like I'm being like, yes, everybody is great, but genuinely everyone is. So please believe me.
Whenever I turn my computer back on, I've left like 5 projects open because I'm like, I must show this to Tom, or I must come back and give this more stars, or. So this one is actually it's a bit spooky. Maybe better for last season, but I really like the look of this.
My goodness! Oh my goodness! I did not expect the bats to fly out.
Yeah, the bat flying out was a great hack we did together on screen. It's just a really nice touch. I really like it. I think there's some fun things we can do to take this idea even further. I actually wanted to show off a really cool bit of coding that Seb did by himself. It's inside bat, and you notice how the bats all flew off to the corner. If you have a look for that bit of code that says repeat until touching sprite 1, that is just a green scribble that Seb has done. And basically, he wanted to experiment with different places for the bats to fly off. And I was like, oh, you can tell them where to go with a blue motion block. But he had a better idea. He was like, well, I want to keep trying different places for them to go. So I'll just tell them to keep going until they touch my invisible green sprite 1. So if you were to move that around now on your screen, you could try out any position just by moving it and hit green flag, and they'll go to the right place, and you haven't had to change any code because he's set it up really smart.
That is so clever. Right, so we've got it over there now. I've made it.
It was better than my suggestion.
Yeah.
They fell off to the side, and then they still disappear and everything. You didn't have to change any code.
Try it down there. Let's put it in top left.
Yeah.
So it's like in the top left now. Ooh. How if I actually press the button? Look, there. Perfect. Oh, upside down.
Yes. Oh, that's actually probably the only bats in the world that I think they start. Oh, do they start upside down or the right way up? I got a bit confused because they start with their wings like above their head, but they look a bit like ears. I was thinking for our hack we could either have a fiddle around and see if we could make the bats come down from the branches instead of popping up. Or another really popular one this week. Oh yeah, he tried a slightly injured mole. Yeah, before we moved on to bats, we did have a slightly more sad-looking mole. I'm like, please don't hit me.
I feel really bad for making whack-a-mole now. That mole looks so dejected that it's been
all week, Tom. I was like, those poor moles. How they suffered. We had different instruments of whacking. One kid added a samurai sword. Oh, it was really good. It was a good week. But yes, I think another popular addition was also a very subtly different naughty, evil, bad mole that if you dumped it, you actually lost points. So I was thinking that might be interesting because Seb didn't do that in his game. He was working on his backlight animation.
I think I came across a similar one where there were some moles which had little hard hats on, so you had to hit them a couple of times, but you got extra points.
I like that. That's really good. Yeah, so like golden moles, extra point moles, bad don't hit me moles. Yeah, we could always add a variation of one of those right now if you fancy it. I'm not sure. I mean, you're the hack master. What do you feel like having a little play around with in Seb's game?
I wonder if let's do it on this version here because I've just I wonder how well can I draw a Bob the Builder hard hat.
Yes, I'm very ready for your drawing skills. Are you using the mouse today, Tom?
Yeah, I'm just gonna use this. So let's see if I can build it right. Hang on, I'm gonna opening up on another tab, opening up a picture of Bob the Builder.
Yeah. Don't forget, you might want a new mole costume, a duplicate of the old mole costume. Or maybe you just want to replace the old one. Yeah.
Good idea. Let's do this. Mole hat. Mole hat hit.
Always good to put names in your costumes, guys.
There you go. I'm gonna do it mole hat hit.
Because later on, it's very easy for you to remember which one you need to switch to. You do like a costume switch. Always good for adding some animation and livelihood. Oh, it's a strong start, folks. Okay. Good. Someone pointed out to me these moles look quite a lot like I don't know, not everyone will have played the Pokemon games, but you know, Diglett, that little Pokemon ground, you pop out the ground.
Very Diglett.
Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it.
a little square bit on the front of the
Subtle.
hat.
Yeah.
And then maybe a little bit of a full rim to the hat. Hang on.
Oh.
My artistic talents know no bounds.
That's okay. I understand that you're working on it. It's a work in progress. There we go. So you've used the arrow tool to grab the brim and change the colour a bit. It wasn't quite light enough.
Exactly. Grabbing that little tool.
If you draw something, guys, and it's perfect, but you just didn't like the colour, you can always use the arrow tool to click on it and change the colour separately.
There we go. We've got a little hard hat.
Beautiful.
Let's get that
It's very nice.
Let's get that mole hat. Let's copy that. Head over to the mole hat hit. Paste
very comprehensive. So we're going to do a donked version. Almost.
You need that colour.
Maybe the donked version's more scratched up.
Oh yeah, I could do a little I
don't know if I'm overthinking
it. Not at all.
Oh, it is fun. Beautiful.
Like there you go. Maybe
nice.
A little scratch.
I'd be proud of you, Tom. People don't always get to appreciate Tom's artistic talents, mostly his coding talent.
My very limited artistic talents.
Mm.
I like to stick to the code over the actual design. I'll leave that to you guys. Right, we've got the hats, all of that sorted. Okay. Yes. Now, at this point...
Could you zoom in a wee bit for me, Tom?
Yeah.
I would love to follow along. Thank you. Yeah. If you ever need to zoom in and out, see what code Tom's snuck in there for you. There are buttons to do so, folks.
Right. Let's have a quick look. I'm going to say, let's do this with a quick if else. And we'll
Sounds like fun.
I'm going to get this out. I'm going to do something clever in a second with that. For the moment, I'm going to say if we know we're being hit, if the hit is successful, let's check the costume name. What do we call them? Mole hat.
Yeah, I might need to copy it just to...
In fact, instead of an if else, we'll do it just a straight up if. Because it can't be both. There's no circumstance where it can be both the mole and mole hat. They are two, aren't they? Mole hat. No circumstance where it can be the two. And then I'm going to make a my blocks. Instead,
we love these.
Instead of doing this twice with just two different numbers for the score, I'm going to do make a block, hit, score.
Yeah.
So whack that in, and I can do that. And then keep it as 200 if we're just the normal mole. And then the other thing I need to do is just change over the costume name in 2 seconds, which I can do.
Yeah.
Or in fact, if I'm clever with how I lay out this order, I'm going to switch costume to the next costume.
Very smart. So we've reordered the costumes.
Yeah. So in the code, there's the mole, and then costume 1 is mole, and then the next costume 2 is its hit form. And with costume 3, costume 4 is the one that's hit. The next one is the hit but the hat. So that way, I don't have to choose a specific costume. I can just go on to the next one.
Smart coding. We like that.
And then, how many points am I giving the one that the super...
Hard hat mole. 1,000? You can't go wrong with a huge number. Actually, maybe that's too generous. I don't know.
Let's go. No, let's do 1,000.
It'll be nice and obvious. I don't know about you, Tom, but I always encourage when we're working in the hat club to use really big numbers or really short times, just so you can test things out as quick as possible. Nice and obvious changes. And then when you know your code's running properly, then you can fiddle with the numbers and balance the game perfectly at the end.
So let's instead, before we start changing up whether we're going to get a mole with a hard hat or not, let's test to check that it works. One with the mole, the normal mole. Are we still getting 200 points? We are indeed.
Good.
Let's go into the right costume. And then let's check. Switch costume. So it's always going to be the one with the hat. Let's test it with the one that's always got the hat.
At the moment, it's like a permanent change, but we'll fix that.
There we go.
There he is.
And there it is.
Nice.
It's working nicely.
Okay.
Perfect. Okay, so now we'll do one last thing.
Yeah.
Now, how often should we have the mole with the hard hat appear?
He's a rare one, I reckon. For 1,000 points, he better be quite rare.
Right,
but then, as I said, when testing, I don't like to make things too rare. Maybe like a 1 in 3 chance or something like that.
Go on then. Let's try that.
Give it a go.
Switch costume to mole hat.
Pick a random number 1 to 3.
Yep.
If we get the 1, we'll get the super rare mole.
Exactly.
1 in
This
3
is
chance.
the number of times I have written this line of code.
Yeah.
If pick random equals.
So useful in games design. A lot of our kids are starting to get used to the pattern too.
Yes. Indeed. Indeed.
Got to add a little element of chaos and randomness to the game. Keep the player on their toes.
Exactly. Cool.
Delighted.
Randomize. Well, literally, learning randomization, like using randomization in games, is just such a common thing. Like in every single game I can think of. I love the Civilization games, for example. And yes, it drives me mad that like things are always slightly randomized, but that's literally the fundamentals of games, because otherwise you just play the same game 1,000 times.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry for that small detour on how much.
No, those games are amazing. It's replayability, isn't it?
Exactly. Randomization is the key to replayability.
Yes.
Cool. So that's going to be random. 1 in 3 is going to be the mole hat. We've got the code for the mole hat here. Right, let's test this.
Looking good. We're looking good.
The moment of truth.
Oh, you got either very lucky there. Oh, yeah, you did just get very lucky.
Yeah, that was very lucky.
Nice.
Already got a few thousand points off of that. This looks to be 1 in 3. The number's looking good. For a moment,
Feels about right.
For a moment, I panicked that our code was wrong. And that we'd done it wrong, but it just
had a lucky start.
Exactly. Perfect.
Mole gods were generous. Brilliant. I like it.
The mole gods in all their
wisdom. Mole people.
The mole men. Exactly. It's like the Underminer in The Incredibles.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the end of the first one and the beginning of the second one.
You know what? I hope they put that film on at Christmas. You know when you used to get really good films on at Christmas? I haven't seen that film in years. That was a good one. Love a good Pixar movie.
I loved The Incredibles. I stand by. You know what? I still love The Incredibles. Anyway, before I get completely sidetracked by The Incredibles.
Yeah, we'll watch that at some point over the holidays.
Exactly. Okie dokie. Did you have any other projects you wanted to show me today, Holly?
I was thinking we'd just have a quick look at a really fun, silly interpretation of one of your workshops. So we have games every week, but we also have workshops. Which are just like little experimental things that people can turn into games. And indeed, Alex has done a fabulous job just putting his own take on this. I think it was originally just a wiggly brown rope.
Yes.
But as you can see, he's gone ham. He's filled the deep sea backdrop with various sea creatures. He's added his own code in. It's just a real nice little take on it.
If anybody wants to see the original.
Oh, yeah, actually got the original. Well done, Tom.
It's a nice and simple thing. It's to create sort of like a rope mechanic-y type thing.
Yeah.
But somebody has very cleverly decided to turn it. It's very satisfying little. Look at that little wheel.
It is a satisfying little thing. And if anyone wants to play with this, it's wiggly rope. You can try and make it longer and wigglier, and you can do what Alex has done here. Let's have a look. See, I think they go random positions every time. And my favourite sea creature to tentacle is the jellyfish. Look how grumpy he gets when you tickle him.
Look at that, that's so cool with the tentacles, like the little suckers on there.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's
the little suckers.
Tickle.
Yeah, they are good, aren't they? He's added little suckers to it, and the jellyfish just gets so mad when you tickle him. I really like it.
I love that, that's brilliant.
He's added little costume changes, coded those in himself. And it's just good fun. I really like it. Alex does some great games. The kids in Alex's group love playing his games, so we'll probably see some of his work again. But that one's my favourite.
That's really fun. I love it.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? So yeah, anytime you guys work on workshops, do let us know. Send us a message or tell us next time you're in Hack Club what you've been up to, because it's just such a nice surprise to see your own creative takes on them.
And you know what? I spend so much time, and likewise you do, spend so much time working on all these projects, and like you get yourself in a place where it's like you can't see how else the project can be used in some way. So it's always like such a nice surprise to see somebody who comes at it with a fresh set of eyes and just a different view on how it can work and all that stuff. I do genuinely love
absolutely. And it happens every week. I can think of a few we'll save for future streams. I don't want to ramble on too long today, but every week we get some really inventive takes on our Code Zone games. Was there anything else we needed to look at today, Tom?
I think we've covered enough for now.
Yeah.
We've got plenty of other stuff we can save for another time.
To close up, do you want to give us a sneaky hint at what next week's game is going to be, Tom?
Ooh, go on then.
You don't have to show us if you don't want to, although you could. Ooh, the excitement.
Games. Now, personally, I am not a massive fan of tower defense games. Personally. It's not to say I won't make one, but I had a brilliant idea for the opposite of a tower defense game. Instead of you trying to defend, where you're trying to defend someone getting and attacking your tower, your own base.
You're waiting for them to traipse in, and you're waiting for resources.
Instead of that, why don't you be the attacker? So this week's game, you're the attacker trying to avoid the turrets and get to the enemy spawn, to the enemy base.
Nice,
so I like
that. I like that. You never have to stop and wait on anything.
Exactly.
It's just
no rounds, no waiting. Just go.
Go for it. And loads of options there to change the player controls, which is always fun for people's different preferred setups.
Exactly.
Loads of options to change the things that are being shot.
Getting shot at.
And I mean, are you getting damaged? Are you getting presents thrown at you? I'm sure we'll see some festive takes as well.
Make it a Christmas tree that launches baubles.
Yes, I like it.
Christmasified it. Awesome. Okie dokie. I reckon that's all we've got time for.
Yeah. Thanks again, guys. Bye-bye. We'll see you soon.
Farewell. Bye.